Hello and welcome to Indies on Indie. I'm your host, Patrick Poe, and usually I do a little update here about what's going on in my world, what I'm up to, what's on my mind, but today's interview is a little longer than usual, but it's all good and interesting, so I thought I'd just cut myself short, get right to the interview. Today's guest is one of the founders of Definity Studios. He's directed the short films Red vs. Blue and The Climb. Both are currently available to watch on Definity Studios' YouTube page. And so without further ado, here is me and Carey Ip.
Trying to network a bit more, be a little bit better on that.
I dig that because I'm pretty bad at that. Besides this, I guess, the podcast, this is the closest thing to like networking I do.
Yeah.
And like even in that, I feel like I don't do it well enough. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people in town. I'm recording. I'll record the whole thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool. Yeah, I just not great at reaching out and communicating with people.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, and that's really like a huge part of the job, you know,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you're doing. Like if you're not networking, then you're going to kind of get lost. you know?
Yeah.
And that's something I realized like really, really early on was it's not so much, you know, knowing a person to do this and that. It's like knowing everybody.
Yeah.
And there's so many people in town that do so many different things.
You seem pretty good at that though, man. Because I feel like you're on everyone's sets. Am I wrong?
I mean, yes and no. I'll hop on set with pretty much anybody, you know. I haven't found someone out that I won't get on set with yet. So
That's good.
yeah, that's
a good
nice.
way to be.
Starting out, like, that's weird. I'm not gonna do this.
That's fine. You don't have to hear yourself.
Yeah, no, I was like, no.
I'm used to hearing myself.
Yeah, starting out, like I got into film like on accident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so with Definity Studios, we started off just wanting to make a video game, and then it ended
really?
up, yeah, it ended
Did
up
you
just-
make it?
No, because I can program a little bit now thanks to starting Definity Studios, but not to that.
So it's Definity?
Yeah, Definity.
Okay. That's how I thought it was said, but I wasn't certain.
Yeah, it's a combination word, so it's to define infinitely.
Okay.
So like and that's a whole conversation in itself. But basically, it's the idea that so I define who I am, but then I portray that upon other people, and other people create their opinions of who I am, which turns around and influences how I define myself. But yeah, that's what Definity is. And
Okay. So it's about like defining others through yourself and yourself through others? Is that?
Yeah, exactly.
So where did that come from?
That was actually a drunk conversation with an old bandmate of mine.
Yeah.
So like I've been using the word Definity since before Definity Studios, like just in all sorts
In
of stuff.
conversation.
Yeah, well, not in conversation. Like like I just thought it was a cool word, and you know we kind of like chatted about it, you know, and I started using it like as my gamer tag on Xbox and stuff, like Vicious Definity. So Vicious is an old nickname of mine from paintball. So like yeah, that was my gamer tag. It's still my PSN ID, and yeah. And then when we started Definity Studios, we didn't have a name for it, and that's the name that we kind of.
Was it you and your wife that started it?
Mm-hmm. It was me and my wife. You and your wife are.
Yeah, we're IX.
Yeah.
IX. And IX is also it's not like how Definity is like one of those things that like means something to you.
Mm-hmm.
IX is a thing that means something to my wife, and she's the one that came up with it. And it's a shortened kind of, not even nomenclature for it because it wouldn't. International exchange is the idea that the two letters come from, and the idea that filmmaking should be world reaching, and storytelling can pass borders and communicate ideas that are global. And she wants to tell global stories about all sorts of different identities and people. So that's where the idea of IX even comes from, is it's about just like telling stories of everyone and how everyone can tell stories internationally and exchanging stories like that.
That's really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
like you, yeah, you didn't create a word. You just used two letters, and then you,
Yeah.
yeah, you base it off that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and it just ends up looking and sounding cool.
Yeah, and it just like looks like it's
Yeah,
people are like, is it nine? Is it? And I'm like, no, it's IX. It's just two letters. That's
nine
all it is.
productions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone thinks it's nine productions. I'm like, no, it's the I
nine
then the
nine
X.
nine nine nine. That's why every time I hear the word nine, I think of Hitler in uh Inglorious
Oh
Bastards.
yeah,
You know, when he's throwing the big fit, he's
yeah.
like nine 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 nine.
Well, I'm glad it's not nine productions. Then.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like
That's
that's
not
like
the
the third
feeling I
time
want.
today that I've thought of that.
Did you just watch Inglorious Bastards, or is
I
it
did.
just?
I watched
Oh,
it like
okay.
a couple days ago.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Had you seen it before?
Yeah, I'd seen before, and
Such a good film.
yeah, it was worth watching again.
Oh, definitely,
Like
definitely.
most of Tarantino's movies are worth watching again. I say
Yes.
most because like he has disappointed me a
Yeah.
couple times. Yeah, like
I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen most, and everything I've seen, I'd watch right now. Like, let's stop doing this and let's go watch one.
like probably the biggest disappointment was for me was Hateful Eight. Like
I haven't
it
seen
was
it
like
yet.
it was like 3 hours of nothing going on.
My worry is that it's going
I
to be
was-
too long.
Yeah.
And like, I'll show you afterwards upstairs. We've got so many movies. Oh my God, man. But or if you've seen any of our vlogs, that's what's behind us in the vlogs. But whenever I think about watching Hateful Eight, I'm like, I could watch Hateful Eight, or we could watch two other movies. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm
Like
I
that's the
always-
fun part about being an adult is like figuring out how much time you want to spend on something. It's almost like, you know, like I can go to the dollar store or I can go to Walmart, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like I can go to the dollar store and get a box of candy for, you know, or 2 boxes of candy for what I can get a box of candy at Walmart. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the same it's like the same thing. You're like, I can spend like an hour and a half on a movie, or I can spend, you know, 3 hours on a movie.
And I think that's why, like, sometimes, like, TV binge watch. I think that's why TV binge watching is caught on, because I think the idea is, well, we'll watch one episode of Daredevil. Like, it's only 40 minutes. We'll watch one episode, and then you watch one. You're like, oh, well, we can watch another episode of Daredevil, and then after it's easier to decide you're spending 40 minutes doing something than to dedicate and plan to spend an hour and a half or 2 hours or 3 hours like the Hateful Eight. Like, it's easier to plan like, oh, well, we'll just do another, because like those increments are a lot smaller.
Exactly. You know, it's like, you know, in 40 minutes, if I'm tired or I'm done, then I can just be done.
And I can just be done.
Whereas, like, you know,
If you start
40
the
minutes
Hateful
into a
Eight
movie,
right now,
you know, you're like
Yeah.
halfway to a third of the way through the movie and
Yeah.
you're stuck.
because there is no stopping cue, it's easier to not stop, which is a weird
Exactly.
thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like, I think it's easier to like get lost in those 40 minutes where you can end up like, what's season 1 of Daredevil's 8 episodes, 40 minutes an episode. That's 320 minutes of
Yeah.
time. That's almost 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's much easier to watch all of Daredevil than to be like, you know what today we're going to do? We're going to watch 3 movies. What 3 movies do you want to watch today?
Or Lord of the Rings extended cut.
Which is why also I've never seen the extended cuts, because I'm always like, I could watch 2 movies.
So my wife and her best friend every year sit down and binge watch all 3 extended cuts of Lord of the Rings.
I
all 3
want
movies
to do that
in
so
one
badly.
day. And like I always fall asleep at the exact same point in Return of the King. The
You
exact
make it
same
to
point.
Return of the King, though. That's pretty
Yes,
good.
I make it to Return of the King right as he's talking to the mouth of Sauron, and
See,
then
I've
I'm
only
out.
seen that scene on YouTube. Because
I'm outie. I'm gone. Like by then, it's like, you know, I've been watching these movies for like 23 hours, and I am out.
Is it really that long?
It's so fucking long. It's so, oh man.
They do it every year?
Yeah.
How many years?
They've done it every year for the last like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I just had my 10-year anniversary.
How old are you?
December
Like,
11th.
if that's not offensive to
Oh no!
ask.
Oh no! No!
If I'm
No!
not like a dick.
No. I'm 28. So we got
You got married at 18?
yeah we got married
Okay.
at 18.
So you are as young as I think you are.
I am as young as you think I am.
That
I
kind of
am
makes
not
me
an
feel
elf.
better. Okay, cool.
I'm not like 40 something.
Yeah, I
just
was like
look in a
terrified you'd be like,
20-year-old's
yeah, I'm
body.
45. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I wish I aged like you, man. Oh my God.
No, Asian don't raisin, but I'm definitely 28.
Okay, cool. I thought you were like my age, but yeah, because I'm 26, turning 27 this year.
Mhm.
Wow, okay, so you've been
I
married
thought you
since...
were older than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. No, same age.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, younger, I guess.
Oh, I mean, same age range at least.
Yeah,
We went to high school.
we
could
would have
have
been
gone
in
to
high school together.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're to talk about that then, I guess. Did you go in because you're from Blue Springs, aren't you? Blue Springs Independence ish.
Yeah, I'm from Blue Springs Independence. I actually grew up in Kansas City.
Okay, so more in the city.
Yeah, I went to Ruskin High School.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
it's Rafa, Longview, and Blue Ridge.
Okay. So you grew up in this area.
Yeah, like
though.
right on the butt crack of Grandview.
Oh, okay. I
Just
know where
right
Grandview
there.
is.
Yeah, right,
Got it.
right there. Like you know where Truman Corners is.
Kinda.
Yeah.
You're too far east
that-
for me.
yeah,
I'll be
that
honest.
area.
I'm more.
I didn't expect you to be a Shawnee Mission guy.
Yeah?
Like, I thought you were like inner city. Yeah.
I don't know that,
I figured like Westport, something like that.
That's what I look like.
Yeah.
I know it. I look like a Westport hipster. I dig it. It's cool.
Well, also you're super cheerful and like you kind of act like the artsy fartsy types, so I figured
am.
yeah, I figured you lived in a bungalow or something out there.
I lucked into this amazing place. Is how it is. Yeah. And now I'm never leave. No, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Who knows? Maybe I'll move. Maybe I won't. I don't know. That's too hard to decide. But did you guys did you date in high school then? You and your wife? Is that how you?
So we met in high school, and then we didn't talk for like 4 years.
Really?
Not for like any particular reason.
Okay, so you just like weren't in the same friend group.
Yeah. We just
What
weren't
were
in
you
the same
doing?
friend.
Were you mostly music or you?
I was actually like a big ROTC kid.
Really?
Yeah, like my dream job was being a grunt in the military. I wanted to go to the Marine Corps, and I actually went through all the recruiter stuff, and then once I turned 18, or when I turned 17, I took my physical, and then they were like, "Oh, you have an asthmatic background. You can't be in the military."
Whoa.
I'm like, well, I have literally no plan for my life other than being in the military. So,
that was like the dream.
that was it.
And then
that was it. That was my going to college.
And it was gone right there.
It was gone. Yeah.
Whoa. Were you
Yeah.
planning on going to college through that then,
No.
or okay, you
No,
weren't
no.
even- Yeah,
I never believed in college. I always believed that I can spend less money and less time learning the same amount of stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, and
know?
you were planning on going to the military, so like you
Yeah.
didn't. That's crazy. So
Yeah, that really sucked. So then I just kind of started bouncing around jobs.
wow.
Yeah.
So you just like got a job and you're like, all right, this is what I'm doing
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I
or-
just got a job and this is what I do. I make money and I just need to find a good paying job and that's how I'll be happy. And I was really wrong. I was really wrong. That's actually one of the things that inspired me to create Definity Studios is, I've always, had like this creative mentality, but like I always thought like, anything creative, you're either like, big baller in Hollywood doing
Yeah.
something or it's a hobby.
Yeah.
I never.
So did you do like were you an artist in high school? Were you in?
No, I actually don't do any art.
Okay.
Hand drawn art or anything. I
Yeah.
am actually really terrible at that kind of stuff. But like I'm good at concepting ideas and planning and execution. That's why like both my short films I've produced and directed, and I
Yeah.
also co-write with my wife. Like I'm not very good with words either, but I'm good at getting like the point across and
You can get
like
things done.
Well, getting the big picture.
Okay.
Jesse's very much the small picture, dialogue mentality,
Yeah.
whereas like I think big picture and I think of like all the scenes and the way everything plays out,
Yeah.
both on the surface and behind the scenes, and how it's all gonna how it's gonna come to fruition at the end, and pay off, and then and so like we'll sit down and that's how we write. We'll sit down and I'll say I have this idea ABC, and then we'll kind of bounce between each other, and then we'll have a timeline, and then she goes on to writing.
Nice.
and it gets fleshed out, and I'll read it and be like, yeah, this is great, or we have a pretty blunt way of talking to each other.
Yeah.
So like I can, like it's really nice. I can be like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And she'll be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think you're right. I just kind of wrote it,
Yeah.
or she'll push back and be like, yeah, it does.
You should be like, no, it totally makes sense, and this is why. And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool way that we collaborate.
That's awesome. So I'm still just so intrigued by your background now at this point.
Oh no, it's cool, man. Like,
So
I'm flattered.
was your wife was she in the arts? Is that like,
yeah,
how were you not in the same, so you weren't in the same friend group at all though?
So she's just a year younger than me.
Okay.
She's actually 9 months, almost to the day, younger than me. It's actually kind of
Weird.
Funny. Yeah, it's one of those funny little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I was born on March 14th. She's born on December 13th.
Oh,
One more day.
One more day.
One more day. But we met and hung out once during my sophomore year of high school.
Her freshman.
And her freshman year of high school. And then I moved to Grain Valley and graduated from Grain Valley.
Oh, okay.
So I moved to Grain Valley the second semester of my sophomore year.
Okay.
And then I spent the second semester and my junior and senior year at Grain Valley. So that's why we just never talked. Because,
Yeah.
Facebook was still kind of getting to be a thing, like,
Yeah.
like internet really wasn't a big thing, back then. So,
Yeah.
I say it's weird that I say back then,
Yeah,
like
it
an
was
old
10
man
years
back
ago.
in my
Yeah.
day. Yeah. But then, yeah, like, so then like, right after I graduated, it was like November or something. She friend requested me on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I remember that girl, and like,
Yeah.
we started talking, and we started dating, and we got married. Yeah.
But like, so how long did you date before you guys got married?
Oh, like a year, something like that.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's worked out wonderfully.
Yeah.
That's
like,
great.
It just kind of happened.
That's awesome. That's great. And then how far into that did you guys start like creating art together?
So, we've always like kind of bounced back and forth, like, just wouldn't it be funny if, or wouldn't it be cool if, kind of talk. And then, so the day it happened, like, I was working at Walmart at the time. I came home and I'm just like, man, this, like, oh my God, like I was just so tired of just the grind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there is like, and at that point I had a little bit different of a view, on what people can do. And, like, I'm like, Jesse, if there's people that can cosplay for a living, we can do something we like for a living.
Yeah.
We can find something we like that isn't just, doing this boring, just.
What was she doing at the time?
Meaningless. She was working at Kohl's.
So yeah, you both just retail jobs, and you were
just
like,
retail.
you could definitely do something more interesting.
Yeah. There's got to be more than this.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I'm like, and so, we talked back and forth, and I'm like, well, you want to try to make a video game?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, let's make a video game. So,
But you're saying, were you already in a band at this point too?
Oh no, I played music back in the day, back before I graduated high school.
Okay.
And then I just kind of fell off the music wagon.
What'd you play?
I played guitar.
Oh,
and
sweet.
sang. Yeah.
I'm just trying to learn right now.
Oh no, you're cool.
I've
You
got
ask
like
whatever.
2 guitars over there that
Yeah.
I can't play, and there's another guitar upstairs. And like, nobody here knows how to play a guitar. I don't know what we have all these guitars for.
Yeah, I'm self-taught. So like I got a wild hair at my butt when I was like 13. I was like, Grandma, I want a guitar for Christmas. So I got like this little Walmart guitar for Christmas.
That's what that is.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
this
sure.
little first act Walmart guitar, and just plucked around on it. And then like I started going to church because like I was trying to impress a girl, so like she went to church, so I went to church with her, and I ended up going to church for like 2 years.
To impress the girl.
Yeah, to impress the girl, but I also ended up in the church band and learning how to play there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to play guitar right now. I just started learning. It's going okay. I can play "Ode to Joy" on the guitar.
Oh, okay.
And Yankee Doodle.
Yankee Doodle.
That's the extent of my skills. I got those two. When I learned Jingle Bells for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Because I already knew how to play those notes already. So that's it. I don't.
Yeah. I can't read music.
Oh. Wow.
I was actually in orchestra, and I faked my way through. Or I was actually I was first chair cello.
Really?
All the way up to my sophomore year in high
You
school.
didn't know how to read music?
And I never could really figure out how to read the music.
Did you know how to play the cello?
I did.
How'd you learn how to play the cello?
I learned how to play the cello. I learned how to play the cello.
So you have
in
like a
seventh
really
grade.
musical ear then.
Yeah, I learned how to play the cello in 7th grade, and then like, and I say I can't read music, so like I can look at the music and know like where my fingers go on the cello.
Okay, that means you can
I
read
don't
music.
know what notes they are.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what notes they are.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like it was really funny trying to fake my way through that in school, because like I was first chair, I was the man, on cello, so like
You were the lead cello.
yeah, I was lead cello, and so Mr. Young, our orchestra teacher, he'd say, yeah, on that C sharp, we need to do this fortissimo. I'm like, okay. Yeah, you got it, boss.
Those words mean, but cool.
Yeah, and I know like the words, but like I didn't know that's what it said.
You didn't know when the C sharp was.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, the C sharp. We'll figure that
out. That's incredible. Oh, man.
Yeah. I lied to my teachers a lot when I was in school.
You're like, this doesn't matter. I'm going to the army.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you the truth. Oh man. So okay, so you decided you're gonna make a video game, you and your wife.
Oh yeah.
How'd that go?
So I went into learning programming. I got to a point where like I could make a dot appear on the screen and make the dot move around on the screen when I press certain buttons.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. And then I learned how to work in 3D space, and I got pretty far. Like I got to a point where like I built all the tutorial games like that were on Unity. I don't know if you ever heard of Unity, but it's just a free game engine.
Okay.
3D game engine, and I went through all the tutorials on that, and I had a really solid understanding of it, but like, but it just I wasn't there yet.
Okay.
And Jesse was plugging along right in the story, and we actually brought on an artist friend of ours to make assets for the video game.
Yeah.
So like the artist was like drawing concept art and stuff for the characters, and stuff like that. And the more Jesse wrote, the more I was like, man, this story is like way bigger than I could ever do justice.
Like I can't code this. Or...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like I could not do this story justice with my skills in programming.
Yeah.
Because like I was like 3 months in, learning, and I'm a quick learner, but I'm not that quick. Like so we talked, and we were like, hey, you want to make this an anime, instead.
Yeah.
So then I got.
You always been into anime and video games.
Yeah, we've always been big, huge nerds.
Yeah. Same. Do you guys cosplay? You mentioned cosplaying earlier.
Yeah. So I've cosplayed as Neji from Naruto.
Okay.
Both from the original Naruto and Shippuden. At NakaCon.
Nice.
I've also cosplayed as the Kishin from Soul Eater.
I haven't seen Soul Eater.
Yeah, it's okay.
I need to watch it.
It's really okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's worth a watch. It's really interesting to watch.
I have a lot on DVD
But
just
it's
because
not
I used to
gonna
work in a
blow my
video
mind
store. I
kinda
think I
stuff.
own Soul Eater actually. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Which means I should get around to it at some point since I bought it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've also cosplayed as Vamp from Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
So that was
So
interesting.
you do a lot of cosplaying then.
Not a lot,
But you do a good amount.
Yeah.
You do a good amount.
Yeah. We did NakaCon for like 3 or 4 years straight, and then like we kind of just ended up either not having the time or the money or both.
Yeah. Now that you're like artists, it's a lot harder. Yeah.
Yeah, like it consumes your life, man.
It does.
It really does.
It takes up all of your extra time and extra money are now filmmaking.
Yeah.
That's just the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna make an anime. I'm sorry, I got you off track.
Oh
on
no, you're
that.
cool. You're cool. Like, so then we're gonna make an anime, and
Who was gonna draw it? You're a bad drawer.
my our artist
Oh,
friend,
the artist.
our artist
Okay,
friend,
the artist friend.
and so
Are they
she
still making art? What do they? What do they do now? Are you still friends with them?
yeah, we're still friends. So she just got overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yeah, our artist friend got really overwhelmed in the process of because they were down for it. They were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then she started realizing, yeah,
It's a
like,
lot.
this is a lot of drawing, a lot. And so she got overwhelmed and she bailed out. So I brought on another artist, and at that point, when I brought on another artist and I brought on a tech guy, and we decided we wanted to the story we wrote for the anime was called Mountain Men, and so we decided like, you know, we needed to take like a trip out and like get our heads in the game, you know.
Okay.
So we went to Colorado and climbed a mountain.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and I surprised them all by revealing that in that time I formed an LLC.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I had I did a whole bunch of dilly
For Definity?
Yeah, for Definity Studios. I had the logo made.
Nice.
I formed an LLC, which something I'd never done before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the whole business side is like, oh, this is something I got to do.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I went and did that, and so we got to the summit of the mountain, and I was like, hey, guess what, guys? Like, it's official. We're a
Definity
thing.
Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we, you know, like everything was great, and then like, you know, we came back, and within the next like 2 or 3 month period, my tech guy and my other artist, my new artist, bailed.
It's a lot
yeah,
of
it's a lot of
work.
work.
Yeah, because that's a thing that making the features I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed also is that like it's so much work to ask of other people
Yeah.
to help to make a feature film. And I cannot believe so many people have said yes and helped us make the features we've made.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane to me. It's crazy because it's just such a big ask of time and talent, and there's so little reward I can offer you for it. It's hard.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I work for my 40 just like any other a-hole, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like I'm still trying to pay my bills. Like, I don't, you know, this isn't what I do for a living. This is what I want to do for a living, and that's why I put in the time for it.
This is what I'm trying to build to
But
be
I'm not
my
getting
career.
I'm not getting paid to do this either.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. I'm not
But-
getting paid, and I'm not making any money doing it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say I can pay you because I can't. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm struggling to buy pizza for everybody.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean? On set.
yep.
You know,
Yeah, I'm counting your slices because there's only so many for everyone, buddy.
yeah, it's tough. And so yeah, they bailed, and like like at that point I just plummeted.
Yeah.
Like my morale hit rock freaking bottom.
That's yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard being an artist like this, and it's so hard to like ask all that of people and then like to stay positive through it all. Like I've kind of realized that like my personal confidence has like gone down in the past 6 years, and I was talking to my wife about it the other day. I was like, I used to just always be confident. Like, I was just always like confident. Like, what do you think happened? And she looked at me and was like, I don't know, maybe 6 years of rejection for all your films from hundreds of festivals. And I was like, good point. Thanks. That hurts, but that's true. Yeah. Like, there's no way you can't let it weigh on you after a while.
Yeah, and like, you know, when I got people that, you know, say they're in, and then like, you know, we're chugging along, and it's like, oh nope, I don't want to do this anymore.
This isn't
It's like,
happening anymore.
oh, great. You know?
Yeah.
And especially, you know, it's hard to take it not personal.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. It's not like, oh, Carey, I hate you. It wasn't like I hate you, Carey.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Like, we're all still friends. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it was just like, dude, this is just too much work, and I'd rather do this and that. And you know, you hear that in a lot of self-help stuff. You know, it's like if you don't put in the work, you know, like you're gonna not go. There's a lot of things you're not gonna do because you want to be successful.
Yep.
You know, and that's stuff I have to tell myself every day. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, man, I just kind of like want to sit down and watch an episode of Supernatural today, but I gotta get something done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've got so much to do. I don't have time to watch an episode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I used to be a huge video gamer. I used to love. I don't play video games anymore. I quit playing video games about 6 years ago when I started filmmaking. I was like, all right, there's other stuff that I love just this much more than video games, and they're gonna have to wait. And maybe someday I'll play games again.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, there are other things I'd rather be doing. Because even like in those times of free time, I'm very picky now about what I do with that free time. Like if I have some time that I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be filmmaking on Tuesday. What I do Tuesday is going to be very specific, and it's usually not going to be video games.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah, you just have to pick it. But yeah, there are people that would rather play 8 hours of Gears of War than put their time into making something that has no payoff.
Yeah, and you know, like that's, and the thing is you know, it pays off eventually.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, you hear people say it all the time, trust the process. It's like it's really hard to trust the process when like I'm pouring, you know, time and energy into this, and like it's not happening as fast as I want it to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so hard not to be impatient about it. You know?
Yes, it is. Yeah, because every year I'm like, all right, this is the year I make it, right? Like I've got to just, and like I think you need to believe that you're gonna be successful with each thing you do, but then when that thing isn't successful, you also have to know like it's a process and it's gonna take time.
Well, also it's measurable success. You know,
Yes.
like just because you know it didn't get you a star on Hollywood Boulevard doesn't mean it wasn't successful.
True.
Like, A, you made it.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot farther than a lot of people get.
Yeah.
And then B, like, you know, like I was talking with another producer here in town, and he says like he usually submits his films to at least 5 festivals, and he gets accepted into maybe 2. And they're small festivals, you know. They're not huge festivals. These, you know, he plays the game right, you know.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, these are festivals that I could probably get into with the quality of this film. That's, you know, being realistic with himself. And then he says, and I usually get rejected three out of 5 times.
My odds are worse than that even. But I'll share with you mine if you care.
Yeah.
We submit to about 20 to 25 per feature film. 2 per film, probably.
That's still that still works with the law of averages.
But like,
so something I learned at GameStop is for every 10 people you ask, you're gonna get 1 yes.
Yeah.
So you're still hitting that law of averages.
It's that same idea of they say that for every 1,000 followers you have, you're gonna get like $1. Yeah, it's like 1 out of every 10 people will give you like money, I think, or something like that, or like 1 out of every 100 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
people metrics like that are even smaller.
Yeah.
You know, you're like conversion rate. You know, you're like when you're talking about like, so out of the people that follow me on Instagram, how many people are gonna subscribe to my YouTube? You're looking at like on average, you're looking at 3 or 4%.
Yep.
Of a conversion rate.
It's insane how small it is. Yeah. But it's it works over time. Eventually it'll build and everything gets bigger.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it is a belief thing, you know. Because like if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anybody else to believe in you?
Yeah.
And if no, and how do you expect people to put their time, you know, their time into watching your films or their money into helping you make your films?
Yeah.
If you don't believe in it, and if they don't believe in it, they're
Exactly.
not going to.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, every film I make, it's going to Sundance, and that's what I tell myself about every film I make. This is the one that goes to Sundance. And if I didn't tell myself that, I shouldn't make the movie. It's kind of my opinion. You know what I mean? And like, statistically, if you're looking at my past films, the next one probably isn't going to Sundance. It's probably a couple from that one, but the next one's going to this one's going to Sundance.
Yeah.
This one's gonna. And I was just talking with a film professor over at KU the other day, and he said this. I wasn't even like, I was tangentially a part of the conversation. Like it was a group, and I was kind of like off to the side, and they were discussing that idea of like, oh, let's go to Sundance. And he goes, that's the belief you have to have. He was like, if you don't believe it's going to Sundance, don't make it. And I was like, that's what I say. Just kind of made me happy to hear it from a professor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, society says you're smart, so I guess I'm right too. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and you know, if anything, it's gonna keep you in the game. You know?
yeah.
Like that belief, because like if you don't believe it, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I was just listening to Seth Godin's Startup School.
Mm.
Great podcast if you haven't listened to it yet. But he has a whole episode called The Dip, where he talks about how with every entrepreneurial enterprise, there's always a valley where the money isn't coming in and you're not successful yet and you're just waiting for it to all come together. And he calls it the dip. And he was saying that most people aren't successful because when they hit the dip, they quit. And everyone that's successful hit the dip and just kept going. And eventually the dip will end. And the dip could be months, years, but if you keep going through the dip, eventually it'll end. And that's just something you have to know.
Yeah, I actually I read it or heard it somewhere that every like you know, like retail startup, every small business retail, there you just count on it losing money for the first year or two.
Yes. Yeah.
You're
Like
gonna lose money.
any bar, any restaurant, you're supposed to expect to lose money for the first 2 years, is what I've always heard.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, as a business owner, how can you live with that?
Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine, you know, because it's not cheap to start one of those up.
No.
You know, I mean, and like to pour all this money into it and watch it lose money for two years.
And just hope and expect that year 3, you're going to start turning a profit to pay that first 2 years back is terrifying.
Yeah.
But I guess like we're doing the same thing. I don't know
Yeah.
how much return on investment you see from your films.
I mean, to be honest, like I am in the hole quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just from, you know, like startup costs, because like, you know, there's some things like you can't not have, you know, like sound equipment, you know.
Yeah, you
can't not have sound stuff.
Yep.
You know, you can't you know, like you know, a lot of times I can find like, well, actually I've had the same DP for both my films so far.
he does great work. I meant to
Alex
talk about him.
Is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
like listen to this. If anybody hears anything, Alex McLaren in Kansas City, you ever want a DP,
Where
get
did
him.
you find him?
I found him on IFKC or IFCKC.
Really?
Yeah, so I worked with Dan Hanley.
Yeah, I know Dan.
Yeah, I worked with Dan Hanley at a manufacturing job like years ago, and he just randomly added me to this group like a few like a year or so before.
This is before you're into
yeah,
film.
before I was into film, and so that actually takes me to my next step of my Definity Studios story. So like I went into the big rut for like 8 months. I was like, I am done.
Yeah.
I almost dissolved the LLC.
Oh wow.
I was that close. I was just like, there's nothing we can do.
We haven't
yeah.
done anything. Why?
Yeah, like we've wasted like a year of our life, you know. And so like that New Year's, like I got really drunk, and I said to myself, I said, you know what? I'm not done. That was it. That was it. I just said, I'm not done. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to do something.
Awesome.
And so like 3 months later, it dawned on me, like, I had actually written a short script, which was Red and Blue.
Okay.
Or Jesse and I had written Red and Blue for Dan Hanley, because he had asked for it. And I never saw him produce it yet. So I was like, we really liked that script a lot. And so I was like, hey, Jess, you remember Red and Blue? I'm going to see if Dan's doing anything with that and see if we can write a different one for him. You know,
if we can we make it?
Indian trading it, you know, like I totally Indian.
So how did like Dan, why did he ask you guys to write him a movie?
He wanted a short script for like some visual concepts that he wanted to try out.
Okay.
And he hadn't gotten around to them yet. So I was like, well, if I'm going to ask him for it, now's the time.
But so you're working with Dan and you just got to chatting and you're like, I kind of write stuff.
No, he actually posted on IFCKC,
Oh, okay.
and he said, "Hey, I'm looking for a script," and he gave the guidelines, and I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, my wife and I write. We can,
We could do that.
yeah, we can throw something at you." He's like, "Okay, sure," and that's how Red and Blue
Oh,
came up.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and so like so then I just messaged Dan. I was like, "Hey, Dan, so we really kind of want to try to shoot the Red and Blue script. So like, you know, what do you think about that?" He's like, "Oh yeah, you can shoot it." I was like, "We can write you another script if
Yeah.
you want, so that you're not out of script." He's like, "Yeah, that's fine. It's whatever you want to do." He was totally cool about it.
Awesome.
So we wrote another short script for him, and then got Red and Blue back, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know how to do anything film wise. I knew literally nothing. So I had a coworker that worked with me, which was the guy that played Blue. He was
Okay.
actually my boss at the time, and I'm like, and
Well, so watching Red and Blue was funny to me only because like I feel like I know the Kansas City film group pretty well, and like you kind of appeared out of nowhere as far as like my knowledge of you is. Just one day you were on Baron's set, and then like 2 days later I saw that you were Definity Studios, and like 3 days later it's like, oh, he's made Red and Blue. Oh, he's made another film. I'm like, where did this guy come from? And then I
I
watched Red and Blue, which I hadn't seen actually until yesterday. I'll admit it. I watched it to
oh,
prepare
it's
for
fine.
this.
Yeah.
And I started watching it. I was like, who's this actor? Like, but because obviously I know you.
Yeah.
But I was like, who's the other? I've never met this guy. I've never seen this guy. Where'd this guy come from?
So that's Too Late to PE. He's a personal trainer here in Kansas City.
Oh, okay.
He's the owner of FireFit, and now he does personal training. At the time, he worked at Walmart with me as an assistant manager. He was my boss,
Okay.
and I was like, "Hey, man, we got this film we want to shoot, and I can't really find actors. So you're like sizably bigger than me."
Did you even look for act? What did you do looking for actors?
Okay, so looking for people in general, I posted on
Yeah.
IFCKC, and I'm like, hey, I don't know, I want to make a film, and I don't know how to make a film. And I don't know what I need or who I need. I just know I need somebody
Yeah.
who's got what, right?
Yeah.
So I got hit up by a makeup artist. I'm like, I don't think we'll need a makeup artist, so I turned her down.
Do you remember who it was?
I can probably look through my messages and find out.
Okay.
But and then I got hit up by a guy that ended up. So I met up with one guy he did camera and sound,
Wow.
and we were all down to do it, and he moved to Wisconsin.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, oh well,
Well, there goes that guy.
next.
I still need camera and sound.
And then the next, and then I got hit up by a couple of people that ended up just not messaging me back.
Yeah, because that's gonna happen. Some
Yeah.
people are gonna see the message and just immediately be like, "I'll do a thing," and then when you get it back to them, they're like, "I'm doing something else.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
actually
yeah.
know you or care about you."
Yeah, exactly.
So
And so Alex hit me up. He's like, "Yeah, I'm down," and like he sent me some of his work. I'm like, "Dude, you're really good." Like, and I don't have any money. And he's just like, "That's fine. I'm cool with passion projects."
yeah,
And then I meet Alex, and he's like this 19-year-old kid, and like the adult in me was like, "Oh boy," 19-year-old kid with the camera. Oh boy, what am I getting myself into? But he showed up. Screw it.
Yeah.
He showed up. Okay, so I got a camera guy, and I went and bought like the sound equipment, and I learned how to do sound. And then since we didn't have any actors, that's when I had hit up T, and I was like, "I'll do red if you want to do blue." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And
like his family in that movie or his family.
It just so
right?
happened that he had a ready-made family for us to kill on screen. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and so we rehearsed a couple times, and at the same time I learned how to do sound, and then I realized like I can't do sound and act.
Yeah.
So over the weekend before we shot, I talked to Jesse. I was like, "Hey Jesse, what are you doing this weekend?" okay, I guess I'm gonna teach you how to do sound this weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it was the four of us, just me, Alex, T, and Jess, and we went out to the woods. We went out to the woods and
Yeah, where are those
started shooting.
woods?
Um,
Are they just on the side of the highway? Pretty
I'm
much.
man, like, so you may or may not do some questionable things while you're filming because you ain't got no money.
Yeah.
So
So it's a pretty guerrilla shoot.
it was a really guerrilla shoot because so the day one shooting, we were
Uh-huh.
leaving, we're taking stuff out to my car to go to the location, and the guy that I was supposed to be contacting for permission for this place is like, yeah, we don't really do that kind of stuff. It's considered commercial work. I'm like, okay, great. And I went anyway.
Okay.
I went anyway.
Okay.
Because like
Is it a park or is it?
yeah, it is a conservation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a nature conservation.
Got it.
I just yeah. Yeah, it's a nature conservation. And,
Well, it looks great.
yeah. And then the all the sitting down stuff. So like that was for the action scene. So the
Okay.
action scene shot in one location, and then all the sitting down stuff we shot like it's in like Holden or something. It was also a conservation area, but it was a camping site.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a little camping site. I just drove all over hell looking for like just
Woods.
the right spot where we could get a good wide shot, of like
Yeah.
the two of us, and also do like the two over the shoulder or the two close-ups.
Yeah.
And I had learned how to I had learned how to think this way through the magic of YouTube and Google. And of
Did
course,
you just like watch a bunch of like how to make a movie or
pretty
like...
much I Googled how to make a movie, and then like it was a big old rabbit hole from there. It's like, okay, so how to make a movie, and then I get like key points A, B, and C. It's like, okay, so now I'm researching key points A, B, and C, and that branches out into more stuff,
Yeah.
And I went in with as much knowledge as I possibly could, and still not enough. Because so day one.
What do you wish you'd known day one?
Sound, 100%. Sound, like you got to get good sound and know what you're doing with sound, because we took sound seriously, obviously.
Yeah.
But we just didn't know how it worked. Like you don't really think about certain things. Like for us, it was cicadas. So like
Okay.
Red and Blue actually took like 9 months to edit, because I had gotten a promotion to an assistant manager, so I was working like 70, 80 hours a week while I shot this and edited it. But also I fucked the sound. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. Like it was bad because the way we shot it was we did everything with camera on blue and everything with camera on red. So
That makes sense.
yeah, and it was in the middle of August. We were outside, so like cicadas, the cicadas were at a totally different time of day when the camera's on me versus T. So when I edited it back and forth, the cicadas were singing a totally different song. So it's like every time it would change camera angles, and I'm like, I have made a mistake, And I'm like, I could probably fix this. So I go in, I'm looking at the waveform and everything, and I noticed that the cicadas, like it's really loud right in the same spot that the bulk of the voice is.
Yeah.
So when I cut it out, like it made all of our voices sound weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't ADR this entire film. I can't do that. Like,
why not, man?
I can.
It's
but
just
I can't.
It's a big
Yeah.
ask for your actor.
Yeah, it was big for T. T has 3 kids and
Yeah.
and a wife, and you worked at Walmart, and it's like, man, I can't ask you to
Yeah.
I can't ask you to sit down for like days trying to ADR this. So
Yeah.
so we fixed it as good as we could, and I don't necessarily think it's terrible,
No.
but it could definitely be better sound.
I mean, it's the thing that stuck out to me as well. Like as a filmmaker, as my critical eye obviously heard the sound and was like, that's what could have been improved on this film. So that's even when I saw my wife last night. I'd watched the movie without her, and then I was like, I liked Red versus Blue. I would say like the sound could be better, but that was like my only critique of it. So
Yeah, I mean the entire script was built around shooting it for cheap,
yeah,
shooting it with as little actors as possible.
yeah.
Um,
I love
and
that house location. How did you find that house? Do they know
so
you shot in that
that is an
house?
abandoned house
Okay.
that we found way back in the day when we used to paintball a lot.
Okay.
And so that was another gorilla shoot. We did
Yeah.
not have permission to be there.
I
We did
assumed.
not have permission to be there. So like it was like, okay, guys, like we actually had my grandma drop all of us off. So because like we didn't have a place to park, it had to be
Yeah.
on the road right in front of the abandoned house. So and it's like kind of buried in the woods a little bit. So like we just
Is it just like on someone's land somewhere then?
yeah, it's just some. I mean, like when we went, when we scouted the location to make sure that it was still there, because we had paintballed in it like 15 years ago.
How did you guys find it like as kids paintballing? It was
Um,
just like
I guess my grandma, like my grandma told me about it because I guess her like one of her relatives used to own it or something like that.
okay.
So we went out there to paintball and you know, because
Yeah.
yeah,
Why
because we
not?
could.
Because it's cool and we could.
But when we went back there the second time for a red and blue shoot, I mean, like that place was torn up. Like the floor was kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
There was like shotgun blasts, you know, like where someone had just like been in there screwing around.
Yeah.
Like there's like that old mattress that we had thrown the
The gun.
AK
Yeah.
on. The arm wall, I actually got that from Craigslist for free. And it was so like when we got there, it was like grab the duffel bags with all the stuff in it and grab the armoire and we're climbing over and so like we climb over this big
Did
cinder
you
block
leave it there then or?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean like I mean at that point who cares? Like
Yeah.
that house is jacked.
Yeah, no, definitely.
One of my extra actors that was on Blue's team, the guy with the shotgun, he fell through the floor on the front door.
Holy shit.
And the house is on cinder blocks, so it was only like he only fell like a foot, but he like
Yeah.
stepped through the floor, and we're like, oh shit, cut. You know? I was like, you all right, Casey? He's like, yeah, just like didn't think I'd step through the floor.
The floor would come apart. Yeah.
Yeah, and then and like. And like because we shot my running scene first, and I didn't fall through the floor, so I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
But he walked in there all creepy like and just stepped right through
the floor.
And then like the other two that went in the back door.
Yeah.
Paul, the guy with the assault rifle that didn't pull out his pistol. The guy
Yeah.
that pulled out his pistol was me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because
Um,
you have less people on set and that you don't see that guy's face. So
and so like the guy that the other guy he kept stepping through the floor when we entered because like the house is like a 4 square grid,
okay.
so it's just like 1 room, 2 room, 3 room, 4 room,
Yeah.
and it's just a cross of walls in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all it was. So and there's a door on each side. So like the way we shot those, me and Paul would walk in one side, and Casey and T would walk in the other side, and we'd regroup.
Yeah.
Where Red used to be, and Paul kept falling through the floor in in the other shots.
Oh my god.
And like the ceilings dangling down, and it was like super musty.
Dude, that
and
house
nasty
is
in there. Yeah,
janky.
it was super janky.
Oh my god.
and yeah, so we added an armoire to it and left.
That's incredible. I just have to imagine like the guy that someday goes back to that house is like, maybe we should check out the house that's on the property. Like, where'd the fucking armoire come from?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah. Originally in the script, Red was supposed to be in like a building with stairways, and he
okay.
falls through a hole in the floor. But I couldn't find an abandoned building
Yeah.
good enough to do that and safe enough
Yeah.
to do that in. So I just came like we found that location, and it was like crunch time. It was like, okay, it's time to figure out where we're gonna be
Yeah.
on Tuesday, you know. It's time to figure out where we're gonna be. I'm not gonna give call sheets at like 1 o'clock in the morning for someone to be
Yeah.
wherever, you know. So it was time to decide. And I'm like, okay. So over the weekend, I'm like, I got an idea, you know, and the
You
hiding in
remember
the
that
arm.
house?
Yeah, the well, no, we already knew the house was there. That was an option.
Okay.
But we just had to decide like what we're gonna do. You know, we're gonna put it
Yeah.
off. You know, we're gonna put it off for God knows how long, or we're just gonna do it. And I said, well, let's just do it. And we just had to do a rewrite on the script. And I'm like, okay, what's another bullshit ass way that
He
Red
could
could have
just
gotten?
hide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Red, Red climbs in this freaking arm wall and just hopes.
That they don't open it.
Yeah. And so then
I love that he punches it too. Love that was a nice touch.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, that was an idea we got like right on spot. I was like, hey,
Oh, on set?
yeah. I was like come in and just, say
Yeah.
son, because like originally he was just gonna say son of a bitch and like not do anything. He's just like throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add a little action into it. So
Yeah, I
I
like
was
it.
like, what if you hit it and then like, on my shot, like we'll hit it again.
Yeah.
And actually when it's showing me inside the arm wall and he hits it, so we had to do that like 5 times because T kept like saying his line and then like hitting it, but he wouldn't hit it very hard, because he didn't want to
Yeah.
like hurt me or
you.
anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I started getting frustrated. I was like, T, just hit the fucking door. And he's like, all right. And he's like, so bitch. And like that, in the shot, you actually see me flinch.
Yeah.
He actually hit, at that point, he actually hit me with the door pretty hard. I was like, okay.
That'll work.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, T.
Yeah.
Take 5.
Yeah. But no, great job making that. So once you had it made, like what was your plan to do with it? You just like you were like, all right, we can make this movie. Like what was the idea?
So originally the idea was I just wanted to make something and just to get eyes on Definity Studios.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a handful of people.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I wanted people to know that we're around. And
Yeah.
we're a thing. So after it got shot, over the 9 months of editing and fixing sound, I learned more about the community and more about, how things work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I guess I should have done a fundraiser before I shot it, for one, and also like I realized like I could get this screened in a theater, like
Yeah.
like without spending a ton of money.
Yeah. Do you show it first Fridays?
No, we actually showed it at the Tapcade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then so our day 1 screening was at the Tapcade.
Nice.
And then I submitted it to...
You just like did that yourself?
Mhm.
Did I've never screened in Tapcade. Do they charge you or did you just
So the deal I made with the guy was
Yeah.
I didn't want to make any money off of it.
Okay.
I also didn't
Yeah.
have any money to give.
Yeah.
So the deal was, he let me screen my film at the theater, but I wasn't to charge tickets.
Yeah.
And he won't charge me anything
To use it. That's
use it,
great. That's
so.
a great deal. Did you have a good turnout?
There was like 10 people that showed up.
Nice.
Couple people I didn't even know.
That's awesome.
And one person that auditioned for The Climb that I actually
Oh,
rejected,
cool.
and it was nice because it's like, oh, you're, like it just showed like, oh, you're still supporting me even though like, I decided to go with a different actress for The Climb,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
That's great.
And Eric Willis was there. Baron was there, of course.
Yeah.
Like Baron has like when I actually met you before the 7-minute shoot. I met you
Yeah,
during...
we met during
Yeah.
What Comes Around. You
Yeah.
were one of the extras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Slash, you were kind of like a grip for the... You helped us put stuff away.
yeah.
See, I know. I remember
Yeah,
you.
I didn't know if you remembered that.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember you.
Plus I was, layered up in like a hoodie and a...
Yeah.
I was...
We were all freezing our
yeah,
ass
we were,
off.
Yeah, we were out there forever. But yeah, like, the first time I met Baron, I was like, oh man, this guy's like the real deal. Not that he's not the real deal, but like in an out of my league kind of way. And then like when he shows up at my screening for my first film, like that really meant a lot. I was like,
Yeah.
that was really cool. I was like, oh shit, Baron's here. And he didn't even like come and sit at the table with us when we were waiting on people to show up.
Yeah.
Like Eric says, "Oh, look, Baron's here." And I turn around and he's like playing video games. He's like playing like Ninja Turtles on one of the arcades in there. I'm like, dude, like
Come hang out with
yeah,
us.
yeah, come hang out with us. Like thanks for showing up, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And
How'd you meet Eric?
I met Eric through Jared Jackson. So I met Jared Jackson at an IFKC meeting. Um and he had done sound for a couple films, so like I asked him to help me out with sound on Red and Blue, and he ended up helping me do Foley and all that stuff too.
Oh, cool.
And so it was like a Thursday. Jared texts me. He's like, "Hey, can you are you available tomorrow to be a boom op?" I'm like, "I've never done that before, but I'll show up."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Good, that's really all we need." And I'm like, "Okay."
That's pretty true for a boom op. You just need a person to show up that's willing to do some work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I showed up, and Eric was there, and like, if you don't know Eric, he seems like really like serious and like, you know, yeah, he seems like really serious and really, really hard. And then like you get to talking to him, and like
He's
he's
such a
super
sweet
chill.
guy.
Yeah,
He's such a sweet guy.
He's like super chill. It's like, but that was my first impression of Eric. You know, like I walk in and I see Eric, and I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, I'm looking for Jared Jackson. He's like, "Oh, Jared. Oh, he's in here." And he's like, "I'm the director, by the way." I'm like, "Oh shit." You know, "Oh shit, sorry." You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like
Which project was that for of Eric's?
That was
Eric's done so many at this point.
he did like 8 short films last year.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the dude's a machine.
Yeah.
But that was for The Head or the Heart.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a short film, The Head or the Heart.
I think I've seen that one.
And it's really good, actually. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Eric Willis films.
Nice.
But yeah, I ended up boom opping for him on that, and then I ended up being his sound guy for all but one of his films last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because like I had a little bit of equipment, and then he kept asking me to do stuff, so I would like like each film that I would do sound for him, I'd be like, this would make it a little bit better or easier,
Yeah.
like quality wise or production wise. And so like I ended up getting some decent sound equipment.
Yeah.
And even now, like, you can never have enough sound equipment.
I agree.
And, yeah, and like at this point, it's like I need to stop because like that's a lot of, it's getting towards it's a lot of money.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and like that's the thing I hate talking about the most is like money. I don't like talking about money.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I need money to do stuff. I need money to eat and to pay my mortgage and to do films and
they cost money.
But I don't like talking about it. I don't
understand.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, like obviously I will, but I just don't like talking.
Yeah, I just want to do my art. I don't want to. I'm not a businessman. I'm not a business person in any way. Like, I just want to make my art.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I am now trying to figure out ways to make it pay so that I can make more art. But like, I just want to make art. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't imagine the amount of things that I could accomplish if this is my 40-hour-a-week job. Because I would obviously work more than 40 hours a week on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I would also have that extra 40 hours a week every week to put into it. It's like, oh my gosh. Because right now I put in like 20 or 30 hours a week into Definity Studios doing this or that, or planning, and oh my gosh, like
I also
so
can't
much.
wait till like some of those jobs though I can pay somebody else to do, because if I don't have to do every job, I can do my job better. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
it's like a lot of people like to produce and direct, but like that's a huge burden, to like stress yourself out with like getting asses in one place for a shoot, and also be directing the creativity of the entire project at the same time.
Well, like me and my wife, we pretty much write, produce, direct as a team, and then like I'm also generally in it, and she's pretty much our DP, but like I'm also a camera op. Like I'm also, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing
Yeah.
all of it. And like I know that if I could do a few less jobs, I could do the jobs I really care about better.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm on set, I always feel like something I've like not thought about. You know what I mean? Like either I know all my lines perfectly and I'm off book, and I like maybe I didn't get to making a shot list that week. You know, or like I made a shot list, I'm perfectly prepared as a director, but like I don't know my lines very well. Like I'm gonna be calling line every 2 minutes. So like I always feel like there's something that I've just left behind just a little bit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
And like I wish I didn't have to worry about every prop that everyone's wearing, every piece of costume everyone's wearing, and like that the cup is in the right place. Like I wish I had somebody else to worry about those things for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just me and Lolo.
Yeah.
And Amber usually. So it's the three of us. But like I wish there were more people to
How
do
many
some of those
features
jobs.
have you done?
We just wrapped production on the 6th.
Nice.
Yeah, we've done pretty much one a year for the past 6, 7-ish years now.
Wow. That's awesome.
Thank
Like,
you.
we're gearing up to do our first feature film
Yeah,
this year, and like I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking scared, dude.
it's doable.
Yeah, like
It's insane.
yeah, and it's one of those things like I'm sure I'm just like anybody else where like I look at it, I'm like, how do I do this with no money? Like
Yeah.
how in the F? Because it's like it's not like a short film where I'm asking for someone to spend a weekend with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're looking at like you know
We just counted.
25, 30 days.
We counted the shoot days we did for The Way It Goes, our most recent feature, and it was 39 shoot days. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. And like, we have one actress who was on set every day. She
Man.
gave us 39 days of her life, and I just am so grateful. You know, like, I can't thank her enough for
Mhm.
giving up that much time. And I think the way that I guess I justify it, I don't know, is that like, I know that they're giving me that time, but like I'm giving even so much more time to try to make it the best thing for them. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of
Yeah.
the way I can look at it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely. When we shot The Climb, we actually shot that in Arkansas.
yeah, I saw that in the behind the scenes footage.
Mhm.
I watched that too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We shot that in Arkansas.
How did you choose Arkansas? Why Arkansas?
Alex. So Alex went out there with his band to shoot like a music video or something.
Okay.
And it's called Hawksbill Crag. And I guess it's also like some Disney movie was shot out there too.
Oh wow.
Like a scene in a Disney movie. I don't know which one it is, but I could
Yeah.
probably look it up. But yeah. So me and Alex, we got together and we were just like, hey man, what are you doing? Hey, I'm doing this. I'm like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, And he's like, Alex listed off like these things that he kind of wanted to do this year, and he was like, I just don't know which ones I want to do. And Road Reel was one of them. Road Reel is like the largest short film competition in the world.
Oh wow.
Hosted by Rode Microphones.
Yeah.
If you want to sponsor us, Rode Microphones.
Yeah.
that'd
You'd
be
have to send
great.
me some microphones because these aren't Rode, but I would use them.
Yeah,
I
all
would.
of my equipment is Rode. 'Cause I'm a team player.
I'd switch to Rode happily if you send me some mics.
But yeah, it's hosted by Rode Microphones, and I was like, let's win Road Reel.
Yeah.
That's literally the only way that I think.
Yeah.
I don't ever think play. I think
No,
win.
that's the and that's that's what you have to think.
Sundance.
I'm going to Sundance.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'm like, let's win Road Reel. So and Alex is like, okay. And so we bounced around some ideas, and Alex really wanted to shoot on this location.
Okay.
And so and Alex had like a little bit of the story like mapped out, of the story for The Climb mapped out. So I was like, hey, let's hand this off to Jesse. Let's flesh it out and let's get it going.
Yeah.
And so we got everything together. We go down to Hawksbill Crag, and that's where we shot.
That's
and-
awesome. So
Yeah.
just kind of like a road trip, and you shot in like how many days?
Over the weekend. So we shot like the bedroom stuff on Saturday, drove down there Saturday afternoon, and stayed the night, and then Sunday morning we got up, went to Hawksbill Crag and shot and came back.
Wow.
Yeah. And the real big challenge there was like it had to be under 3 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm like, how do we tell a story in under 3 minutes?
Yeah.
You know, and but we actually ended up in the top 5%
That's awesome.
of people's choice
That's
for
great.
road reel.
That's
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, and like, you know, like I really try not to be cocky about stuff like that, but like
Yeah.
for my second short film to
yeah.
hit like top 5% of the largest short film competition in the world, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's
You
great.
know?
No, that's
Like
incredible.
that's a win in my book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was really happy with the way it came out. And I actually had a buddy ask me after it came out. He says, "Hey man, I just watched both of your short films." And he's like, "What's the deal with the quality between Red and Blue and The Climb?" I'm like, "I knew what I was doing in The Climb."
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
Yeah, I mean, we just put out Mr. Lee on Blu-ray, and Mr. Lee's like one of our older films, and so we've been watching it a lot recently, trying to like get all the assets together for putting it on Blu-ray and like creating deleted scenes, and we did a director commentary and like all this stuff, but to like get it ready, like I said, I've seen it a million times recently, and watching Mr. Lee and like the quality of it, and then watching like the way it goes footage. It's insane. I can't even believe they're made by the same person. Like I keep joking that like the quality of Mr. Lee is like the quality of the way it goes is behind the scenes footage. Like it's just not it's not as high quality as what I'm doing now, but
Yeah.
obviously it's because I learned a lot, and this is 4 feature films later. I know more, and you're gonna learn. And
Yeah, I mean, coming from the philosopher in me, you know, you said it's almost like it wasn't made by the same person, and in
yeah,
a
I guess you
way,
could say it isn't.
It isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You change in 6 years, man.
Yeah,
You
that's
really do.
definitely true. It is not made by the same person
Yeah.
that made Mr. Lee.
And you know that's one of my personal keys to life is, you know, like nothing nothing that's living is sitting still.
Yeah,
The only thing that sits still is dead.
good point.
So like that goes not just for your body, but for like, you know, your mind and, you know, your personality. Like if you're not, you know, constantly changing in some subtle way, you know, and bettering yourself, like once you stagnate, you're dead,
Yeah,
you know. And you know, just like, you know, if you never learn from your mistakes from your first your first feature film, you'd be making the same feature film now.
true. Yeah,
You know, and you wouldn't be any closer to your goal, because you know,
yeah.
'cause,
You're
like,
not any closer to Sundance
yeah,
if you're not
any
learning.
yeah, exactly. Like if your first film didn't make it to Sundance, then, you know, and your fifth film is exactly the same,
Yeah.
guess where it's not going.
One of my favorite quotes about that, which I've said on this podcast probably too many times, is the Akira Kurosawa quote of "Which is your favorite film? Which is your best film you've made?" His answer would always be "My next film," which I agree with that. Like my
Yeah.
next film's always better, and I'll admit this is like I don't know if it's a bad habit as a filmmaker, but there is always a point in production of each of my features where I'm like, I'm ready to do the next feature. Like,
Yeah.
there gets like a little further than 3/4 of the way in. I'm like, all right, I've already written the script for the next one, and I like it more now, and I could do it better now that I've done all these things for this feature to learn. We can quit making this. Let's make the next one.
Yeah.
But like, you have to finish. You know what I mean? Because if you don't finish something, it's pointless. But
Yeah, I had a really bad habit before Definity Studios of having a whole bunch of half done stuff sitting
yeah,
around, and now like I'm really particular about finishing things.
I think that's the only reason Lolo keeps me around is that before me, she had like envisioned the idea of starting like features and creating her first feature film because she was a filmmaker way before me. She has years of experience beyond me. But she had kept envisioning making these feature films, and then they kept falling apart. And then when I finally like kind of got on board and we kind of created IX Productions, we got the first one made. And I think at that point she was like, all right, I'll keep him around forever. Like,
Nice.
but if we hadn't finished Intermission, I think she would have just been like, I'm done with you forever.
Fair enough.
Um,
I don't know why Jesse keeps me around. I'm just a big pain in her ass.
That's how I feel, man. I don't know. I don't know how I did it, but I've got an amazingly talented wife. That's just the truth. But so you're showing Red and Blue at First City?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So we like way back in the beginning of the podcast, we talked about acceptance rate.
Yeah.
I actually have a 3 out of 5 acceptance rate.
Nice
for Red and Blue.
job.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
So you've screened at First Friday.
Yeah.
You're going to screen at First City.
Mm-hmm.
What's the third?
Oh, sorry. Wait. Okay, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna pull it up. I'm losing my numbers here.
It's okay.
Sorry, it is 2 out of 5, and
Oh, okay.
it's a semifinalist in Los Angeles Cinefest.
Oh, nice. So you're
Um,
still waiting to hear whether or not it's a finalist in screens,
From
or
from what I hear about LA Cinefest, like you're always gonna get semifinalists because they want to sell you laurels.
got it.
Yeah, but and then I'm waiting on breakout shorts,
Oh, cool.
and then I was denied for an international one, Prime Media.
Okay.
That
There's
was-
so many festivals.
Yeah, that was a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna make it into that.
I
one.
always do a couple of those,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, you never know.
It's
Like,
going to Sundance.
I think it was. I think that one was in like England or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I submit too much probably, but like once again, you never know, and like festivals I've learned they're such great places to meet more filmmakers
Mhm.
and to like connect with somewhat of an audience, and you learn a lot from watching an audience watch your movie. At least I feel like I do.
Yeah.
Especially as like a comedian and comic filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
there's no like comparable thing to watching an audience watch my movie, because like when I watch my movie, I know where I think the laughs are, but when I watch an audience of 100 plus at the KC Film Fest watch Zoink and laugh, I know where the laughs are now. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that one works, this doesn't work, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, comedy is such an individual thing.
Yeah,
Like what's funny to you may be really stupid to me.
true. Very true.
Or just like I mean, there's plenty of like comedy movies out there where like I love it and my wife hates it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
She's like, "Why you like this? This is stupid." I was like, "Cause it's hilarious."
Yeah, and then she was like, "No, it's not. It's not my funny." And
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh, okay."
exactly. So like not only so you have that extra layer of like, did it not work, or
Or is it not your taste?
yeah, is it just not this audience's tast? I mean, and that doesn't just go for comedy. It's like
Yeah.
even like drama and action and stuff like that. You can feel it in the room.
Yeah.
Like when you're waiting on them to get the punchline.
Yeah.
Like that dead space. Yeah, like I definitely noticed that going to First Friday. Like I'm sitting in a theater full of people watching my film, so like it comes on, I'm like, okay, pay attention to the audience.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to your film. You've seen it.
You know the movie. You know
Yeah,
the movie.
I know this movie, so just pay attention to the way the audience reacts.
What did you get anything from the audience? Like, what did you learn from how the audience was taking your film?
I learned that people are less picky about shit than I am.
Okay.
Like obviously a filmmaker is going to notice every little thing that's wrong with the film, but like the general audience, not so much. Like they're I did the Q&A afterwards, and like the questions I got were some questions I would expect, like what kind of camera did you use, what was the biggest challenge, and stuff like that, but then I had a couple like weird questions,
Yeah.
like I had someone ask me, why didn't red kill blue? And I'm like, oh, which we answered that question
In the
during the
movie.
film.
Well,
but that seemed to escape him a bit, or
you kind of answer it.
the
I think it's
person,
not...
yeah, or the person was trying to dig deeper.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's that.
I couldn't tell if I had missed a point there, or if
True. Yeah.
Or if they're digging deeper as to why did he really not kill Blue?
Yeah, because I think that is a question that you're left with when the movie ends. Like, what underlying reason is it that Red doesn't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We wanted Red to be ambiguous, because like you're not gonna know everything. The whole idea behind Red and Blue was that that the only true enemy is the times. So like, when two men are fighting in a war, like they don't know each other.
Yeah.
They're just fighting each other. So it's like they could like, have the same.
They
like,
may be best friends.
Yeah, like if they were home
you connected them.
Yeah, if they were home in America, like next door neighbors or something, like their kids might play together. But right now, they're fighting.
They're told that they're enemies.
Yeah, and they're trying to kill each other. And so like, what would happen if you sat them down and have them talk it out?
Yeah.
And like for Red's character, we just wanted him to have this air of mystery to him, so that people would wonder things like that, like what's Red about to do, because we wanted to keep the tension going, even through the chit chat. Like you don't know if Red, what Red's really up to, because he's not showing his hand, whereas like Blue is just kind of like slowly kind of unraveling as a character. So
I mean, I liked it, so I'm excited to watch it again at First City, probably.
Yeah.
As long as the schedule lines up. Who knows? I've never been to that festival. I'm excited to go.
Yeah.
Last year I didn't have anything to submit when they did their first year, because I had made any shorts, and they were only taking shorts at the time. But this year I had a short, and I submitted it, and it got in too.
Nice.
So yeah. So I got both the Feature Zoink and Dangerous Proposal will be showing there. Yeah. It's great how many festivals we have in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a good community. There are good festivals. It's slowly building.
Yeah.
It's just about now, I think, personally, about branching out beyond Kansas City. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's my goal of 2019, is to maybe try to, like, get something into a festival outside of Kansas City, in this greater Kansas City area.
Yeah. That's why I'm hoping for Breakout Shorts. Breakout Shorts is an online festival.
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping to get that, because like there's no bigger country than the internet.
Yeah. Good point. It's a pretty big market.
Yeah. So that would be pretty cool. And like that's actually like one of my larger ambitions for Definity Studios is I keep telling people, like, and again, like, it's hard for me not to say cocky shit like this. Not because I'm cocky, but because I don't want to be cocky. So, but I keep telling people, I'm not going to go to Hollywood. Hollywood's going to come to me. Like,
I mean, that's...
like, there's so much fucking talent here in Kansas City. There's so many talented artists, like, not just in film, like, in all the arts. There's great musicians. There's great painters. There's just great artists in general in Kansas City. And nobody gives a shit because it's Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, it's just, we don't, I don't think it's that nobody gives a shit. I think it's that the market hasn't found us yet.
Yeah.
/ we haven't found the market. You know what I mean?
And my ultimate goal for Definity Studios is to build Disney in KC. Like, I want to have an all-in-one production house. Like, we do all forms of entertainment all under one roof.
Yeah.
Everybody's, paid and happy, and, like, and like show like, the big dicks up, up top, like how it should be, instead of like, like I want to be able to get up on Twitter one day and be like, hey Disney, just so you know, my janitor makes like $60,000 a year. And he's my lowest paid, he's my lowest paid employee here. I take care of my people. I don't spend like $10 million on like a person to be in my film.
Yeah.
Because
we're all Kansas City people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, that's great for, whatever actor gets that $10 million cut, but like, that's making your films cost way more than they should. Like, I can't wrap my head around $200 million.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't wrap my head around like, you know, what I would do on a feature film that had $1 million budget, you know? And
I'm
like,
starting to think that way. I think I could do it though.
well, oh yeah, I could. I don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think I'd
spend $1
love to
million,
do it.
but
Yeah.
but it's the fact that you get on set, you get on these indie sets, and you're like, wow, like we're doing all this for nothing. Imagine if we had $1,000.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had 10 grand, you know, and then and like it gets to a point where you're like, what else am I spending money on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could pay, I could pay these people, that are already doing multiple roles, like Patrick. I could pay Patrick
Yeah.
to be a camera op and an actor every once in a while, and
Yeah.
because like obviously you can't use the same fucking actors all year around.
Yeah.
So what you do is you hire actors that are cool with doing other shit, teach them
Yeah.
to do the other shit, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna pay you a salary all year round to work all year round.
Yeah.
You have stability for one. You're not like you're not gonna have a 6-month dry spell of no work as an
Yeah.
actor. You're always gonna have work.
Yeah.
Like so your family and everything's taken care of. You work around the clock. Or you work throughout
Yeah.
the year for Definity Studios on multiple different projects, and we get more done for less money and pay people more. Like the PAs get paid enough to live instead of like, oh, I hope I get this $200 gig on Sunday
On
or
a
I can't
day
pay my
rate.
rent.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, or even like like the big like the big FX studios that like come and go all the time because like they fuck up Henry Cavill's mustache in Batman versus Superman,
Yeah.
or Justice League,
Yeah.
and then they're out of work for the rest of their fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
And-
that's the big goal is
that's the big goal.
so what are you doing right now? Like what's this year's goal? What's next for you guys right now?
So this year, we're writing a Western
Oh,
feature.
sweet.
Yeah, it's a Western. That's where it's like, oh man, can I do this
That's
on such a low
lofty.
budget?
Yeah.
It is lofty. I'm definitely one for lofty goals.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you found cool locations for the last two things though. Like
Yeah.
that's the hardest thing with a Western is the locations and the costumes.
yeah, exactly. And things like horses. Like I'm excited and I'm scared to death because
Yeah.
because it's like I'm adding an animal. You know what I mean? Like that's not something I can control as much as I
Yeah.
want to control. I can be like, hey actor, don't do that. I can't be like, hey horse, don't buck my actor off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't kill my actor, please. But yeah,
That is
we're
pretty large in scope.
yeah we're getting ready to do a feature this year. And
You're sending red and blue around to
yeah,
festivals.
so Red and Blue is actually hitting the end of its festival run. Breakout Shorts is the last festival that we have that we're waiting on an answer for. And I've been wanting to do something that nobody's done before, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So I call it a vlogumentary, because so I want to document our road to success while we're still small
Mm-hmm.
and have people be part of it.
Okay.
So like it's like a vlog,
Yeah.
but it's also like a documentary that's happening now. So like, like I want to release probably like weekly videos on, this is what I'm doing, this is what we did this week, and obviously like we're not going to be doing different stuff every week. So,
yeah. Some weeks aren't going to be that interesting.
So like that's where I'm getting, kind of hung up. It's like, I can do like little tutorials, but I'm not experienced enough to do huge tutorials because, again, that's specifically why I'm doing that. Why I want to do it is because like, I want people to be like, yeah, I was there while Definity Studios was making it up. And now they're this, what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want, and just the excitement, of like, if you get on like, an episode one day and you're like, hey, Definity Studio, like Carey just quit his job And
Yeah.
Carey just quit his job. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Because something I've noticed just from people watching throughout the years is that people want to be part of something, and people want to be inspired.
Yeah.
Um, and I think showing people yeah, this is the struggle I go through every day, and this is this is what we do every day, and like it's not always pretty. It's and not just focusing on the bad things. Like, yeah, some days I do some really cool fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like I do some really cool stuff some days, and then some days it's like I'm trying to figure out
Some days
something
I'm
to post to
hungry
Instagram.
and annoyed,
Yeah.
and
Some days, like, I sit down and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to do today.
yep. Yeah, some days I have no clue what the thing that's supposed to be done is.
Yeah.
Because like there are so many things I could be doing. Am I working on the new feature? Am I working on writing the next script? What's the most important thing? I don't know. No one's telling me. Like it's I have those days.
Yeah.
Every third day probably.
Yeah, and that's really me taking a big step forward in making Definity Studios the shining light that it can be. One of the founding ideas behind Definity Studios is the idea that, like, I mean, look around your room, dude. Entertainment is a part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big part of your life for in the age that we live in now. Like, you don't go anywhere without some type of entertainment. You're listening to music, you're reading a book, you're watching, you're watching YouTube, you're watching, a movie, you come home, you're eating and you're watching a movie, and like you're listening to a podcast, you're doing something that's entertaining you and feeding, that need, and that's what you ultimately learn from. I actually have a tattoo from a video game and a movie on my arm because it impacted my life that much. And so, like, so again, just if I once I figure out the how, I want to this year I want to start doing my vlogumentary posts of just like, yeah, this is what I did this week, and also updating people as to, like, where we came from.
Yeah.
Because I don't have, like, the most miraculous story ever. Like, I literally went, like, the whole first year of Definity Studios being around, I went through losing everybody but my wife twice. And like being on the cusp of giving up within my first year.
Yep.
And that's really, and again, like, even that is an inspiration, because it's like,
yeah, because you didn't quit.
It's the fact that I'm like, I didn't say fuck it and just go off and keep fiddle farting around doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got to do something. What is that thing? And that's how I found film.
Yeah.
And that's how I found, obviously, I'm not James Cameron yet.
Yeah.
But I made a film and it's successful because it's my first film, and and it's gone further than it's ever been, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I got accepted into 3 film festivals. So, two film festivals. I'm waiting on 1.
Yeah.
So, shit, since I'm waiting on it, I got accepted into 3 film festivals.
Yeah. Good way to talk. You're getting into Sundance.
It's funny that you say that. So with the feature, around November, I went up to Jessie. I said, I want to make a feature next year. She's like, oh, really? She's like, oh, really? And I'm like, I want it to be a Western. She's like, oh, really? Because Westerns are not really my cup of tea. But I just had a really good visual idea for something we can do with Westerns that would be pretty freaking awesome. And she's like, okay. And I was like, and I want to submit it to Sundance. She's like, what's Sundance? I'm like, it's just one of the biggest.
It's the biggest.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's in the top 3. It's hard to say which one's the biggest.
It's Sundance.
Yeah, it is Sundance. Yeah, so I'm like, and I want to get in Sundance. And I told her what Sundance is. She's like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah, we can't fuck around with this.
Yeah.
Like, we got to do it, and do it.
I understand
100%.
that desire, though, to, like, to share the struggle,
Mhm.
because like that's part of the whole reason I made this podcast, is because like I listen to like Mark Maron, I listen to Armchair Expert, and I listen to like all these like interview podcasts where it's these famous people talking to famous people, and I'm like, that's really inspirational, but I want to hear somebody who's in it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear somebody who's like me, who doesn't know what to post on a Tuesday, who doesn't like, is like, do I need to focus on Instagram? Am I Instagramming just because of my business, or is it because I enjoy it? It's my business. Okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear those people that are trying to figure it out with me. Because, like, even listening to, like, or like reading Robert Rodriguez's book. I don't know if you've read his book, but you should.
I actually, so this is a funny thing about me. I don't read for pleasure. I read for information.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I mean, I do both.
Yeah. And there's actually some books I want to read. I just like I get a few pages in, I'm just like I just can't. I don't know. It's just like, oh God, get me out of this. You know? Like,
Yeah.
like.
But like reading Robert's book, like it's super inspirational. It's incredible. It's about him making his first feature film and like how he did it. But like the way he did it doesn't match with the like in the way he made it into success doesn't match with the way that I'm gonna make it into success, because nobody can do it his way anymore. Like, I'm doing it my way, you're doing it your way.
Mhm.
And I'd much rather hear that though from somebody who's doing it their way now than somebody who did it his way in 92.
Well, also, you know, like you hear a lot of, so like, you know, it's like, I'm trying to think, like if you had like a, you know, 5 Steps to Success by Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? It's
Yeah.
like, well, it's easy for you to say, motherfucker, you're already successful.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
like and I'm not dog Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
Like probably number 1.
Interesting.
Probably number 1.
Why?
Because he did what I want to do. He came from Austria, barely spoke a lick of English, and became, you know, Mr. Universe. And you know, he is the Mr. Universe statue.
Yeah.
You know, and he became a worldwide
Phenomenon.
yeah
Yeah.
a worldwide superstar actor.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then he went and became governor of California. Like, you know, he came, you know, and again, he came here, you know, from freaking Austria, not speaking a lick of English and not having a dime to his name.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, I speak English, but you know,
so you got that going for you. Got an advantage over Arnold. You're one step above.
I was already born here.
You have one more privilege than Arnold had when he started.
Yeah, and so like, you know, people keep saying, you know, like it's been a plague over my life, you know, just the thought that like, oh, I'm just nobody. I can't ever do anything because I'm nobody. I was born nobody.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's,
you reject that, and so do I.
Yeah. Like I can see where people come from that, and you know, where people come from thinking that, and you know, and it sucks because I've been in that spot.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in that spot where it's like, yeah, I'll never be anybody. I don't have money to become somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it takes money to make money, and yada yada yada. You know, but yeah, that's why Arnold's one of my biggest inspirations. But yeah, so like I obviously do take, you know, Arnold's keys to success to heart.
Yeah.
But you know, also just again watching the documentary made by an already famous, you know, person or company, it's like I don't think it means as much to you as being there when it's happening, you know. And that's what I want to do is I want to put ourselves out there, and like I want to almost challenge people to laugh at me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, go ahead and laugh, because each video is going to be a little bit better, and eventually I'm going to reach the goals that I want to reach.
Yeah.
And you're going to look way back on your stupid comments on my YouTube, you know, on my second video on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, telling me I'm nobody, and I'm just going to laugh at that.
That's awesome. That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to go through life with the idea of spite in my head.
Yeah.
You know, but again, like I want it to be I want it to be something that people can be part of.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, I can't just walk around handing shares of Definity Studios out,
Yeah.
you know, but I can hand out our story, and I can let you be part of this in some small way.
Yeah.
And even if it's just, you know, like, come into YouTube every week and watch what we did this week, or watch, you know, what we decided to talk about this week at least.
Yeah.
While we're doing stuff, you know, and then, like, you know, if I can take those, you know, that community that I build through that, and like bring it to Instagram, and then say, you know, then you can follow me daily on Instagram, and then you can, you know, then you can see what I do every day, you know, on top of like all the other crap I do. So like, it's like, hey, here I am going to work, because I work like every other a-hole,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know, and here I am getting off work so I can go work on Definity Studio stuff, because
Yep.
that's how you got to
So I can
do
go
it.
spend all my time on something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like this is what the grind looks like,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But to be honest, I mean, Definity Studios has been like the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done so far.
That's great.
And everything that I do is always more and more fulfilling. And you know, it's that feeling of success that's addicting, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do this year.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being on the podcast. I think
yeah.
that's where we're gonna end that. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
See what I mean? I couldn't have cut any of that. Carey Ip and Definity Studios are on the rise with tons of plans for the future, so be sure to subscribe to them on YouTube and like Definity Studios on Facebook. As always, thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing to Indies on Indie, brought to you by IX Productions.